Just type in TuneIn Radio. Once the app is downloaded, search for DZRJ 810 AM. For Radio Garden app, once it's downloaded, search for DZRJ 810 AM. And for Streema app, that's STREEMA. And once it's downloaded, search for DZRJ 810 AM. And now you can enjoy DZRJ 810 AM anytime and anywhere. Hey, it's free.
You are watching the multi-awarded Radio Bandido TV on Channel 224 Sky Cable and TV Plus boxes. Simulcast on DZRJ 810 AM. Informing, advising, and entertaining the Filipinos and OFWs around the world. Streaming live on www.facebook.com/DZRJ 810 AM or on YouTube, channel RJAM News. To all Teleradio Bandido viewers and listeners, you can now watch Teleradio Bandido on our new YouTube channel, RJAM News. Hit the subscribe button and like the video. Don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified when a new video gets uploaded. Don't miss out on our dynamite lineup.
Mga kababayan, magsama-sama na tayo. Joy Belmonte, handang tumulong. Tulong-tulong, tuluyan-tulong. Joy Belmonte, ng Quezon City. Tuloy ang serbisyo. Tuloy ang progreso. Si Joy Belmonte, ng Quezon City. Joy Belmonte, handang tumulong. Tulong-tulong, tuluyan-tulong. Joy Belmonte, ng Quezon City.
A straight question deserves a straight answer. Presenting straight from Radio Bandido in partnership with the Philippine Star. An ongoing question and answer series with candidates for the May 9 elections. This week's candidate, Secretary Sal Panelo, answers the question straight. This is straight from Radio Bandido.
Secretary Panelo, what is your position on the use of nuclear energy and the use of the mothballed nuclear plant in Bataan?
The President issued an executive order adopting a nuclear energy program, committing the introduction of nuclear power into our energy mix to provide our country another source of power energy requirements. In view of the increasing electricity rates, the prices, and our commitment in the United Nations to move away from coal, because, as we all know, its environmental impact is great. Now, I agree that we have to use nuclear energy in view of the energy crisis in the Philippines. And the use of nuclear energy in countries like China, Japan, and South Korea is very successful. So it should give us a reliable source of energy. And we should veer away from our dependency on coal. So I think I agree 100% that we should now look into the possibility of using nuclear energy. Otherwise, mapag-iwanan po tayo if we do not develop nuclear power. E tandaan natin, matagumpay naman sa ibang bansa ang paggamit.
That was straight from Radio Bandido. Stay tuned daily till Election Day for this ongoing series.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. It's a Tuesday, Martes, 22 March. And nandito po tayo sa ating programa, Kontra Birada, dito sa Radio Bandido. At pati na po sa RJTV. Ako po yung likod, si Atty. Toledo. magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. Good afternoon. May hapon sa atong mga kaigsunan sa Kabisayaan. And kasama po natin, walang iba kundi ang ating magaling na abogado na partner natin, si Atty. Karen Jimeno. Magandang hapon, Atty. Karen.
Hi, good afternoon, Attorney Mike, and welcome back from Cebu. You were away for quite a while, no?
Yes.
Good.
I had some meetings in Cebu, and I also had a very difficult job of having to judge the next Miss Cebu. Miss Cebu 2022. It's a very difficult job.
I thought you were gonna say you had a difficult job of also eating lechon for several days.
That too. Isa na rin yun.
But good afternoon to all our viewers and listeners. I'm very excited about today's program, Attorney Mike. You know, it's been the whole March. We're celebrating Women's Month, and you know, it's also rare for us to have like such exceptional women in our program. But you know, in all around the world, women that do very, very well are really people that, one, need to be recognized, but also they inspire other women to also achieve so many things. So that's actually what we're going to have in today's program. We're going to have a very exceptional woman in the legal field to be with us today and share her experience.
Alam mo, partner, tama ka, and I would like to thank you, for really making sure that our special guest for today, that you invited her, and it's really a great honor to have her. Kilala ko po siya noong pa man po, at siya po isa sa mga respected member of the judiciary. Her career, if you read her resume, is very impressive, and talaga po may inspire ka sa kanyang mga nagawa. At I think, kagaya ng sinabi mo, partner, it would be good to hear her so that she can also inspire others. So without any further ado, partner, can you do the honors of introducing our special guest? And we are really very privileged and happy to have her with us this afternoon.
Yes, really special guest. And just to give a brief background, our guest for today is the 24th Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the Philippines. And technically, she is the first official female Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, because the prior appointment of a female Chief Justice was declared void ab initio. So she is, our guest today, is the first official female Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. So that's really a huge achievement. This record is rarely held in other parts of the world. Even the US, they don't have they haven't had a female Chief Justice yet. They have very few justices of the Supreme Court, and our guest today has had a very stellar career, and at some point was also the presiding justice of the Sandigan Bayan. So without further ado, we are very, very proud to welcome today and to introduce to everyone our guest, former Supreme Court Chief Justice Teresita De Castro. Good afternoon, CJ.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, CJ.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your kind words. This is the first time that I accepted an interview like this.
That's why we're very excited.
I've avoided this throughout my long career. Even at the time that we were in that very controversial stage in the Supreme Court, I was asked to be interviewed by so many media personalities, but I refused. But now, since I'm already retired, and I respect Karen and Mike Toledo, I acceded to this invitation to appear or to participate in your program.
Thank you, CJ.
Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat po, CJ. Maraming salamat. Siguro with your indulgence, partner Karen, siguro tanungin na natin si CJ, no? Like, clearly, it is really an accomplishment to be the first official Chief Justice of the Philippine Supreme Court. At kagaya na sinabi niyo, partner, sa ibang bansa, wala nga, for example, the United States, no? Hindi pa sila nagkaroon ng Supreme Court Chief Justice. Gusto ko lang po sanang tanungin ang ating pong panauhin, si CJ, kung gaano ba kahirap ang dinaanan nyo? Because meron ba talagang, was there an inherent disadvantage po? Kasi nga, Women's Month po, nasa Women's Month po tayo, pinag-uusapan din natin ang gender equality, gender empowerment or women empowerment. Was being a woman, to begin with, ma'am, was it somehow a hindrance perhaps to your quick accession to becoming Chief Justice, from starting as a clerk all the way to the DOJ, all the way to the Sandigan, and eventually to the Supreme Court? Naging hadlang ba po ang pagiging babae niyo?
Well, I didn't feel any gender bias against me in government. But I have a very, what I should say, interesting experience when I was under bar waiting for the results of the bar exam. I applied for a position in a big law firm here in Manila. And when I was interviewed, I was asked if I have any plan of getting married soon. All questions. There was still then no gender responsiveness or
Yes.
at that time, as you know, in law school, our professors will be telling us green jokes.
Yes.
Nobody complained about it. Although one time I walked out of my class when my professor said a green joke when I was reciting. I went out of the class and never came back until the next session. Now, when I was asked that, I can't recall anymore what I answered, but I was told, we have only one lady lawyer now. That was in 1973. They just have one lady lawyer. And she was pointed to me by the one interviewing me, a partner in the law firm. And that woman was on the family way. And I was told that, she's not doing litigation, but administrative work. So I got the sense that they are not really ready yet to get a lady lawyer, although I was still under bar then. But, we apply already in law offices even before the results of the bar would come out. So, but at that time, I was already accepted in the clerk of court of the Supreme Court, where I started as a law clerk. Kasi nga under bar pa ako. And you know how much I was receiving? 500 pesos a month.
Oh my God. Well, in terms of inflation, that's
under bar ako noon. Tapos so
is that considered high?
I was walking along Padre Faura. Yung dati kong professor, si Vicente Mendoza, who later on became Supreme Court Justice. Ano siya noon? Assistant Solicitor General. The offices of the OSG were in the same building as the DOJ along Padre Faura. So nakasalubong ko siya. Sabi niya, why don't you join the OSG? Sabi niya, sir, how much is the pay there? Sabi niya, 250 pesos. Pero sabi niya, but as soon as you pass the bar, you will get a pay increase. Sabi niya ganun. But since I promised the clerk of court of the Supreme Court that I would not leave until after 2 years, so hindi nga ako. I decided to stay there. Besides, when I was called back by the law firm after they waited for the results of the bar exams to come out, I was asked to return to meet the rest of the partners of that law firm. And you know what? The schedule was exactly on my wedding day.
Oh my gosh. Don't tell me what happened in this wedding.
Oo, talaga. Kaya naisip ko nga, sometimes when you look back, akala mo merong mga misfortune or it was something bad.
Not meant to.
Baka blessing in disguise pala. So I did not anymore report for interview. Decided to stay in the Supreme Court. Since anyway, I promised I would stay for 2 years. Ayoko nang bumalik to tell them I'm married. So, yun na, nag-stay na lang ako sa Supreme Court. It turned out that it was good, really very good for me. Kasi very regular ang time sa Supreme Court. So, I was able to attend well to my children. Yung nare-review ko sila. At the same time, working, hindi pa masyadong, yung bang you go home at 5, ganyan, ano. So, na-develop yung good study habits ng mga children ko when I was a young lawyer, not having too much responsibility at work, na ano ko yung study habits ng mga anak ko. And it turned out in the future, lahat sila honor students, maski hanggang college, may magna, may cum laude, may sister, dalawa naging lawyer. And I think it was because of yung I had the time for them nung nasa Supreme Court ako. Palagi ko kung nag-law office ako, hindi siguro naging ganun yung takbo kasi nakita ko yung daughter ko nung nagtatrabaho sa law firm, aghating gabi, ano, ano. So anyway,
may pakiramdam ako, CJ, may feeling lang ako kung anong law firm yung nag-invite sa'yo. Kasi kung class 72 ka, yung dati pong, yung unang-unang law firm ko pinasukan po ay meron kang kaklase na class 72 na isa din sa nag-interview din sa akin. At
may green joke din.
Oo, marami, may mga classmates ako doon.
Oo, sa law firm na yun at doon po ako natuto mag-practice.
Oo. Pero talaga later on, nung nasa Sandigan Bayan na ako, sabi ko, ayaw pala ako ni Lord na lawyer. Kasi yung mga nag-a-appear sa akin, yung galing doon sa law firm na dapat sabi ko, gusto pala ni Lord, ako ay judge. Ayaw niya akong yung lawyer na nag-a-appear, ganun. So in any case, yung pala, yung pag-stay ko sa kaya sinasabi ko, serendipitous ang aking career as a lawyer and as a member of the court. Kasi clueless ako, wala akong relative na malapit na lawyer. Distant relative, meron, di naman so close. So nobody was guiding me. So ako saan? Pag pasok sa Supreme Court, so nandun ako. I was so busy, trabaho ng trabaho. Sabi nung office mate ko, wag mong gandahan, kaya binibigyan ka ng maraming trabaho.
And during that time, during that time, CJ, konti lang kayong babae. Were you few in the...
ganito, no, marami-rami naman kasi sa court, marami pumapasok na mga babae. Kasi parang medyo itahimik lang ang buhay, hindi masyadong tensionado yung doon sa court lalo sa Supreme Court, ganyan. Ka pa naman, yung lawyer ka lang na So nung nag-stay ako doon, it turned out I will get my first break sa career ko. Kasi siguro sa katatrabaho ko nga, one day nakakita ako sa table ko ng dinidetail ako sa office ng Chief Justice. Nandun ako sa clerk of court, doing agenda, minutes, ganun. Whatever it is, kahit mababang klaseng, kahit yung work, ganun lang, magagawa ng agenda, magagawa ng minutes, pinagbubutihan ko pa rin. Tsaka minsan, pinapagawa ng position paper ng clerk of court. So siguro, because of that, napansin naman ako nung Chief Justice, si Fred Ruiz Castro. So I was detailed sa office ni Chief. Tapos dalawa lang kaming babaeng lawyer, since Karen asked. Siguro sa mga 12 kami, mga 10 yung mga puro lalaki na lawyers, tapos dalawa kaming babae, and we were placed in one room. Alam mo kung sino yun? Yung naging Supreme Court Justice Minita Chico Nazario.
Oh, wow!
Kaming dalawa, nandun kami sa office ni Chief Justice Castro, nandun kami sa isang kwarto. That's where we developed that friendship. Tapos yung pala, naghahanap si Fred Ruiz Castro ng way to unclog the dockets of the court. Kasi noong time na yun, 450,000 ng pending cases from the Supreme Court down to the lowest court. Yung pala, nag-suggest siya kay Marcos, President Marcos, ng interagency committee to study ways of resolving cases outside of court, yung extrajudicially so mediation, arbitration, and all that. Tapos, so nakasama ko dun yung representative ng Department of Justice, may taga-DND, may taga-Department of Education, may taga-UP Law Center, may halo-halo doon. Doon ko na-meet yung naging boss ko. So, nung tapos na yung work namin, na-sign na yung Presidential Decree 1508, yung establishing the Katarungan Pambarangay Law, sabi niya sa akin, magkano sweldo mo dito? Matuwa ka. Na-increase na yung sweldo ko from 500. Tapos naging lawyer ako, naging 1,200. At that time, 1,500 po. Tapos sabi niya, ganun, sabi niya, lipat ka sa Department of Justice. Hindi ka dun sa first entry, yung entry position, ilalagay ko, sabi niya. Doon ka sa second higher position, mas mataas dun sa sabi State Council 1, instead of State Council na walang number, binigay niya sa akin State Council 1. Sabi niya, and you will earn 2,000 pesos a month.
But 2,000 pesos a month back then, was that big for compared to mga lawyers in private practice? Mataas naman po ba yun? Ay,
naku, tingin ko hindi. At saka talagang, biruin mo, nag-stay ako sa DOJ ng 19 years. 2,000 pesos yung starting salary ko. Nung na-promote ako sa Sandigan Bayan, 19,000 na yung basic pay ko sa DOJ. Magkano yung increase ko? Mga 1,000 a year.
Yeah, that's true.
So imagine from 2,000 nag-start ako. After 19 years, ang sweldo ko noon 19,000 pesos lang. Nakalipat nga ako sa DOJ. Tapos because of that, hindi ko pinlano. It was because I met the boss there sa head, yung chief ng legal department ng DOJ, si Lorna Lombos de la Fuente, taga UP din yun. Cum laude yung nag-graduate sa UP. So, yung mga, kasi syempre, nahihiya ako na pangit yung yung output ko. So I always put yung my best foot forward kasi not because I wanted to be promoted. Ang ko lang, nakakahiya, baka sabihin tanga ako, baka you do your best para yung yung reputation mo naman hindi naman masama. Tapos at the same time, gusto mo ma-please yung boss mo, magumaang ang kanyang trabaho. At saka later on, maisip mo na I have to do this for the sake of my institution kasi minsan yung trabaho mo will reflect on your, not only on yourself, but also on the institution. Kung mali-mali ginagawa ng opisina mo, magre-reflect yun. So pag nung nandun ako, sige, ganyan, trabaho. Ginagawa kong understudy ng mga boss ko. Kasi siguro, they feel confident pagka ako yung katulong nila sa trabaho. Until one time, dumating yung RPUS military bases talks. Nire-review pa noon every 5 years kasi nire-review yung military bases. So, inassign ako doon ng boss ko. 1988. Tapos later on, yung pinaka-critical period sa relationship ng Philippines and the US, yung termination of the bases agreement by 1991.
This was,
Yes.
1990.
So I was a member of the government panel. Kasama ko si Mang Lapu, si Bengson, si Dr. Bengson, tsaka mga iba-iba maraming kasama ko sa negotiating panel. I was the one who prepared the position of among other things, the position of the Philippines that we will deliver or send the notice of termination 1 year before 1991. Kasi ang gusto ng other side, 1991 magbigay ng notice of termination. Kasi para may 1 year pa, 1992. Nakalagay sa Constitution, 1991. So I had the burden of preparing the position paper and defending it during the negotiation before si Armitage ang head ng panel. So everyone was watching us, Congress, cabinet, basta lahat ng people in government were watching closely yung mga negotiating panel. Tapos yung aking kasamang ambassador, si Ambassador Leonidas Caday na taga Department of Foreign Affairs, sabi niya, Tessie, mark my word, this will be the stepping stone to your career. Yun ang sinabi niya sa akin. Kasi ako, I never had any yung bang mga family connection or political connection. Basta sariling kayod ko lang ako. And when I do my work, it's not because I want to be promoted. Ginagawa ko lang yun kasi sabi ko, naku, representative ako ng DOJ. Baka sabihin, ano ba itong taga-DOJ? Palpak. Yun what I'm trying to avoid. I want to put yung good name, yung image ng office ko lagi in my mind. Kasi nga ganun, you represent yung DOJ. And true enough, yun na nga ang naging stepping stone kasi nung mag-peace talks, panahon naman kasi yung basis talks, panahon ni Cory yun eh. Tapos yung peace talks, panahon naman ni President Ramos. Ngayon, yung naging boss ko sa DOJ nung nag-basis talks, ako ni-recommend na maging sa negotiating panel ng government sa rebels. Ayaw ko talaga. Sabi ko, unang-una muna CPP, NPA, NDF, kakausapin. Ako out of nowhere, bigla kong aalisin ko sa aking, dadalahin ako doon, makikipag-negotiate ako sa mga rebels. Sabi ko, sir, sabi ko doon sa boss ko, sa Secretary of Justice, si Belio, sir, huwag mo naman ako i-assign dyan, iba na lang. Sabi niya, ay nako, hindi ko to desisyon to ng Malacanang.
At that time, who was...
Ikaw daw. I was specifically chosen daw. Siguro, ang naisip ko na tuloy when I look back, hindi ko pa masyadong naiisip before that. When I look back, baka yun sinabi ni Ambassador Caday, mark my word, this will be the stepping stone to your career. Siguro, kaya nila ako naisip na ako ilagay doon because of my performance doon sa RPUS military bases talks. Ayun, secret pa yung talks no with the rebels kasi baka magkaroon ng belligerency status eh. Di ba?
Yes.
So, the government was reluctant really to engage in formal peace negotiations with rebels for fear of according them
Yes.
belligerency status under international
law. Yeah.
So, kaya tuloy, I need to be very careful sa ginagawa namin kasi nakikipag-usap ka sa mga tao, gusto mo magkaroon ng peace agreement, pero they do not believe in the Constitution. They do not believe in... So talaga, ang hirap talaga. Nagagalit yung presidente pag binibreakdown ng talks. Kasi sabi ng president, ay nako, yung konting kaguluhan, malaki ang epekto sa ating development, national development. Yun. So we tried our best to keep the talks going. Nako, pagkatapos ng CPP, NPA, magtotoks naman sa Kilamiswari, sa Moro National Liberation Front. Gusto na naman ako doon. Sabi ko, paano po yun? Nagne-negotiate na ho kami sa rebels, sa CPP, NPA, NDF. Hindi naman sabay-sabay yun eh. Yung talks daw, hindi sabay-sabay. So, bukod sa regular work ko sa DOJ, meron yung mga special assignment lang yan eh.
Yeah.
Sa isang banda, in the course of those work that I did, na-meet ko naman lahat yung mga nahando sa corridors of power. Yung mga cabinet members, Presidential Legal Counsel, Executive Secretary, yung na-meet ko silang lahat. So trabaho. Wala pa sa isip ko mag-apply sa judiciary, wala kasi I was so busy. Tapos yung ginagawa ko naman, I feel fulfilled. At kasi yung mga naging superior ko naman, tsaka yung mga chairman ng mga panel ko, showed to me yung kanilang yung kanilang recognition ng work ko. Tapos binibigyan nila ako ng credit. At kahit mababa ang ranggo ko, sinasama ako pag nagre-report sa Malacanang kay President Ramos. So I get to know President Ramos. Siguro ngayon ko lang din naiisip, sabi ko, ang bait ng mga kasama ko sa trabaho. Siguro, that was their way of showing their gratitude by bringing me with them, kahit hindi ako cabinet member. Kasi ang rank ko noon ang mataas, di ba, secretary, undersecretary, then assistant secretary. Ang salary grade ko, assistant secretary. So hindi pa ako undersecretary. Yun yung usually na nakakasama sa mga cabinet meetings, sa mga nagre-represent. Or anyway, because of that, lagi akong kakasama doon sa office ng president. And siguro yung presidente nalalaman na rin doon niya yung ginagawa ko. Tapos one time,
Who was the president at this time, CJ? During this time, who was the president? Was it Ramos?
Si Ramos.
Ramos,
Si
okay.
FBI.
Kaya gusto niya yung pistoks Talagang pistoks siya Tapos kami,
CJ, we'll take a short break, no? And then babalik po tayo. Kasi maganda talaga yung diskusyon natin.
I didn't
Talagang
realize.
napakita natin yung pagtakbo ng iyong career, no? From sa Supreme Court, sa DOJ. And then of course, pagbalik po natin, pag-usapan po natin kung paano ka nag-end sa Sandigan and eventually sa Supreme Court. Kasi judging, di ba, partner, from what has been talked about,
napunta na nga tayo doon.
Na hindi naman naging hadlang ang kanyang pagka-female. In fact, because I guess of her competence, intelligence, and integrity, whether she was male or female was beside the point. Nakita ng mga kasamahan niya. Kaya magandang
very inspiring
pagpatuloy
story.
natin ito pag-uusapan natin.
Yeah.
So we'll take a short break, partner. CJ, with your kind indulgence, Your Honor.
Am I talking too much?
No.
Not at all.
In fact, we have been silent because nakikinig talaga kami ni Atty. Mike. Normally, we interject with so many questions. Pero ako naaaliw talaga ako. It's not a straightforward story pala.
Yes.
So, after the break, we'll go back because I want to hear more about your experience in Malacanang under the Ramos presidency.
Okay, so huwag po kayong malis. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back, of course, with CJ De Castro.
Okay.
Ang ating kapangyarihan ay para sa mga walang kapangyarihan.
Salamat, Senator Laila de Lima, sa pagpasa ng batas sa 4Ps. May laban kami sa gutom at sakit. Kasama mo kami sa laban mo, Senator Laila.
Yan si Senador Laila. Kahit ginipit at ipinakulong, nagtatrabaho, lumalaban. Ibalik ang hustisya. Angat Pinoy, sabay-sabay babangon. Angat Pinoy, angat ang hanap buhay. Mga kababaihan, iangat natin. Angat tayo lahat. Angat Pinoy, party list ng micro, small and medium enterprises ng kababaihan. Angat Pinoy, tutulungan umasenso ang mga negosyo ng kababaihan upang guminhawa ang buhay ng kanilang pamilya. Angat tayo lahat. Tandaan, Angat Pinoy Party List.
Welcome back. At kayo po ay dito kasama natin sa ating programa, Kontra Birada. Kasama po natin walang iba kung aking partner, si Atty. Jimeno. And of course, we have as our special guest, no less than the former Chief Justice and officially, as mentioned by Atty. Karen, actually she's officially the first woman Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the Philippines, CJ Teresita De Castro, who belongs to the class of 72 of the UP College of Law. Sorry to say, pero kaming tatlo po lahat dito ay taga UP College of Law. So, Atty. Karen, baka meron kang yatang gustong i-follow up din kay CJ. Pagsamantalahan na natin, di ba?
Yeah. So, one, it's been very interesting na marinig yung journey ni CJ Tessie, how she started sa legal career niya. And you know, Attorney Mike, di ba, a lot of people normally when you hear them reaching the Supreme Court, parang katakot-takot na pamumulitika yung pinagdadaanan nila or they really strategize even how to get appointed. Sa RTC pa lang, parang lahat na ng parang lahat na lang ng halo-halong strategies ginagawa nila para lang makapasok sa courts. So it's been amazing so far to hear CJ Tessie saying na for her, she didn't even come from a family with political connections, so she was really just nakakoncentrate lang siya lagi in terms of working and then working very hard. So CJ Tessie, you found yourself eventually being pulled in the executive naman, so coming from the courts, you ended up in the DOJ, and then this time at the level of Malacanang, wherein they were asking you to even negotiate for in the peace talks. So can you share with us that experience? Because that's another very male-dominated field that, as you mentioned, na kahit na yung salary grade level mo is at the level of assistant secretary, you were being asked to attend peace talks and meetings that were really reserved for more top-level officials. How was that experience? And again, as a female, were you outnumbered by men? And then how did you find that whole journey naman in that portion of your career?
Alam mo kasi ang tingin ko, no, I always had that confidence that I know what I'm doing. Kasi nga nagpe-prepare ako, nag-aaral ako talagang mabuti. I see to it na pag meron kaming dapat gawain, talagang pinagbubuti ko yung pag-research ko, pag-aaral ko. Tapos I really pay attention dun sa nangyayari sa sa talks, like pag nandun kami sa actual talks sa abroad. Nakabantay ako sa chairman ko. Hindi ako maalis sa tabi. Hindi ako pumupunta sa banyo kasi baka pagbalik ko, yung chairman ko may i-concede na hindi pwede. So talagang bantay-bantay ako, lagi ako may small note, no, well, lalagay ko or wait, yung sinasabihan ko. Tapos I was talagang sobrang, I was really talagang sobra pag uuwi ko nga from the peace talk, sabi nila, ay para kang si Sharon, sana nga singganda ako ni Sharon, kaso hindi, ang kasi lang sinasabi nila puro daw ako eye bags at saka itim daw yung mata. Tapos so anyway, every talks kasi, anbawa this round of talks, yan, at the end of the talks, may gagawin kami mga agreements. Dapat malinis yun. Kasi baka pag uwi namin, magre-revalida kami sa cabinet. Haharap ako sa Cluster E ng cabinet, yung political and security concerns ng cabinet. Tatanungin kami kung ano yung mga pinirmahan namin. Magre-report din kami sa Presidential Legal Council, sa Executive Secretary na puro mga lawyers na explain namin yung ginawa namin. Lagi namang pumapasa, awa ng Diyos. So na-expose ako sa kanila. Tapos perhaps nakita nila how I work, ano yung attitude ko, pati yung how I defend the interests of the Philippines. Maski lalo na doon sa basis talks at saka dito sa peace talks, talagang pinaglalaban ko talaga yung gobyerno. Hindi ako talaga basta-basta bibigay kahit nakaharap ko yung talagang matatapang na mga head ng mga rebel groups. Basta kung ano yung talagang tama, sasabihin ko yung hindi pwede. Hindi pwede yan, bawal sa Constitution.
Saka puro sila lalaki, ma'am. Diba, ma'am? Puro sila lalaki, yung mga head rebel groups, no? Puro men.
Sila halandoni.
Oo.
Tapos si Miss Wari, sa MNLF, si Miss, okay na. Si Miss Wari. So, at saka ang kasama ko, malimit, may mga pictures nga kami, minsan ako lang ang babae. Well, siguro you earn the respect ng mga kasamahan mo, basta prepared ka, always be prepared sa, alam mo, yung position mo, papagtanggol mo, and you always prove yourself na tama ka kasi nga nag-aaral kang mabuti. So, sa ganun, maraming exposure ako sa cabinets, until one time, wala akong planong mag-apply sa judiciary. Tinawagan ako ni Justice Nazario, kaya I mentioned Justice Nazario At that time, justice na siya ng Sandigan Bayan. Pero kasi nung namatay si Fred Ruiz Castro, naging clerk of court siya ng Sandigan, tapos naging RTC, tapos finally naging justice na rin siya ng Sandigan. Tinawagan niya ako, sabi niya, gusto kitang kasama dito. Mag-apply ka na dito, may 6 na bakanting position. Sabi niya gano'n. Ako kasi pag may sinabi yung kaibigan ko, nahihiya akong hindi pagbigyan. So I wrote a letter to Chief Justice Narbasa. I'm applying for the position of ganun-ganun. Tapos hinayaan ko na lang yun sa loob ko. Ayan, napagbigyan ko na yung kaibigan ko, nag-apply ako. Kasi I didn't want to apply kasi I felt it was too early. Tapos may kasamahan ako sa office na lagi ko kasabay kumakain na senior sa akin ng 5 years who was applying for Court of Appeals Justice. Ayoko mag-compete with her.
So this is, CJ Tessie, this was for the position of justice already? What post was this? Justice of the Supreme Court?
Kasi yung inaaya ako ni Sa Sandigan, kasi nasa Sandigan siya noon, justice na so sabi niya, meron dito, there were 6 positions newly created. Nag-create kasi ng 2 divisions Dati 3 lang ang division ng Sandigan naging 5. So merong 6 na bago. Sabi niya, mag-apply ka dito. Sabi niya gano'n.
How old were you at the time?
47 yata. And that was unusual before kasi hindi ganyan kaaga yung mga na-appoint sa appellate. At saka, dapat USEC ka muna bago ka mag-aspire ng ganyan. Anyway, nag-apply ako. Sabi ko, pagbigyan ko nga itong kaibigan ko. Tapos nag-apply ako. Naku, talagang para iyo, ibibigay ng Diyos sa iyo Kasi biyahe ko ng biyahe at pistok sa Jakarta, kay Miswari, pistok sa Holland, kila Joma, tapos director pa ako sa SBMA, tapos may regular work ako sa office, hindi naman ako pwedeng i-exempt doon sa mga legal opinion na queries. So, ang dami kong ginagawa.
So, but this time, sorry, CJ, I keep asking questions then, but at this time, malalaki na po yung mga anak ninyo. So, hindi na nabawi na yung dati na you were so dedicated to them when you were in the Supreme Court. Biglang ngayon, it sounded like you were constantly traveling, constantly working.
Kaya awa nga nun Diyos, sabi ko, mabuti, na-develop ko yung good study habits ng mga bata nung hindi pa ako busy. Kasi nung na-busy na ako, ang tawag nga nila sa akin, border malalaki na sila, sabi, nandito ang ating border. Kasi minsan nandun ako sa SBMA, minsan nandun ako sa Holland, minsan nasa Jakarta, minsan nila alam kung saan ako nanggaling. Pero at that time, set na yung study habits nila.
That's impressive.
So, naging maganda naman yung naging excellent yung kanilang school records. Tapos, nung sinabihan ako ng gano'n, talaga sabi ko, pag gusto ng Diyos, ibibigay sa'yo. 2 weeks before the deadline ng submission ng application, naglilinis ako ng table ko, nakita ko yung sulat ni asawa ni Chief Justice Puno, si dating clerk of court. Sabi ko, may sulat ng Supreme Court, ano kaya ito? Nung buksan ko, yung pala, application form. Sabi, hindi daw pwede yung letter ko. I should file yung application form, fill it up, and submit. Naku, tinignan ko yung deadline. Nakita ko yun siguro middle of May. Ang deadline, May 31.
Oh my gosh.
So, sabi ko, file ko nga. Sa final ko. Tapos eto pa, sabi ko talaga si Lord, parang tumutulong. Yung tawag dito, first anniversary ng peace agreement, yung signing of the peace agreement with Miss Wari. Merong celebration sa Mindanao, I forgot where. Sabi, I invited daw ako, sumama daw ako. Yung pala sasakay ako sa presidential plane. Kasama pala doon. Kasama pala. That was September 1. Kasi yun yung signing ng peace agreement, September 1. So nandun ako sa eroplano, kasama ko presidente. Nominated na ako ng JBC. Sabi nung isang cabinet secretary, Tess, kandidato ka pala sa Sandigan. Nag-sponsorship speech ako sa'yo.
Wow!
Tapos sabi niya sa akin, gusto ko naman nila lahat Sabi niya gano'n. So siguro ayaw naman niya to take all the credit. Kaya sabi niya, bigla siyang bumawi. Gusto ko naman nila lahat Sabi niya gano'n. Tapos ito na, pwede ko siguro sabihin ng pangalan, pero kasi I had high respect for him dahil tinulungan pa rin niya ako. Kasi nilapitan niya ako doon sa aeroplano, C-130, yung malaking gano'n, yung dumadaan. Yun ang sinakyan namin, C-130 Sabi niya, Tess, talaga bang gusto mo na ma-appoint sa Sandigan? Sabi ko, oo, kasi naman yun promotion. Paano kung magkakaso ako? Sabi nga, naandun ka. Alam mo ang sagot ko, you will be presumed innocent until proven otherwise. Yun yung sinagot ko sa kanya. Kasi I cannot really promise anything Yung kahit up to the time na handun ako sa Supreme Court, I will never promise na tutulong ako nang wala sa lugar. Kaya yun ang sinagot ko sa kanya. Pero in spite of that, tinulungan pa rin niya ako. He did not oppose yung aking, siya Presidential Legal Counsel noon
That time, naku, we'll trace
Oo.
back.
Kaya
During
kung-
Brahma's time.
Oo, kaya sabi ko, mabuti siyang
Kilala
tao.
ko na yun. Kilala ko
Mabuti
na kung
siyang
sino yun.
tao. Mabuti siyang tao kasi namatay na siya patay na siya.
Alam ko na kung
Yes.
sino. Yeah, okay,
Yes.
I already
So,
know who this is. Yeah.
very high ang respect ko sa kanya kasi despite of how I replied to him, tinulungan pa rin niya ako kaya sabi ko mabuti siyang tao. So yun, alam mo ba, after noon, sabi niya, Mr. President, saan ka naman makakita yung mga tao trying hard to approach the President, yung Malacanang or anybody just near the President, happy na sila. And I was there with the President himself in an airplane and with all the cabinet members na a-attend nung signing ng peace agreement. Tapos sabi nung chairman doon sa panel ko ng MNLF, sigurado ka na? Ay hindi naman nung nagsabi si President ng oo Ay naku, hindi ka marunong tumingin ng body language. Sabi niya. So, true enough, September 1 yun. September 8, nagbabasa ako ng Manila Times, ng dyaryo. 6 appointed to the Sandigan Bayan. Uy, may na-appoint sa Sandigan Bayan, 6. Hando ng pangalan ko.
That's amazing. So, nauna pa niyo nakita sa newspaper, walang before
Doon ko lang nabasa sa newspaper na appointed ako. So, sabi ko, ay, appointed ako. So, yun, ganun ako nakarating sa Sandigan Bayan. Tapos ayun, and it was very timely. Kasi pag pumunta ka sa call, tapos ang kasama mo puro mas bata sa'yo, hindi ka mag-move seniority din Pagdating sa Sandigan, lahat ng retirable na yung mga datnan ko. So in 4 years, I became a division chief. Tapos after 7 years, naging presiding justice na ako. And sometimes yung mga iba kahit ilang taon, hindi nakaka-chair, hindi nagiging chairman, hindi nagiging PJ. Kasi kung nadatnan mo mga bata or hindi na po-promote, lalo noon nung panahon ng araw, ang daming hindi na po-promote agad sa Supreme Court kasi si Garchitorena yung PJ. Alam niyo naman si Garchitorena, hindi siya ma-promote. merong protocol ba na iniintay mo yung PJ mo ma-promote. Hindi kagaya ngayon, talaga naman kahit junior apply ng apply.
By the way, CJ, nakikita ko lang, I think mayroon gusto bumati po sa inyo. Actually, kilala mo rin siya. Taga-UP College of Law din po. At isa ding very respected practicing lawyer. I'm sure he must have appeared in front of you several times. Nandiyan po sa ating screen ngayon, walang iba ang tumatakbo bilang senador ng Republika. Si Secretary Sal Panelo. Magandang hapon po, Secretary Sal.
Of course, I know him. At have high respect for him. Good luck sa iyong sa iyong candidacy.
Sexan, naririnig niyo ba kami?
Mukhang nag-iikot ang si Secretary Sal ngayon. Baka nasa campaign trail.
Nagkakampanya.
Oo. Secretary Sal, you're on mute. Parang nagsasalita siya You're on mute, Secretary Sal.
Baka on mute ka.
Ayan.
Sabi ko, Justice Tessie. Justice Tessie.
Yun.
Hi.
Hi. Kayo.
Hi.
Thank you for your support.
Oo. Sige. Wish you luck.
We just landed in Bacolod. Meron kami mga events dito.
I see. Naku, nakakapagod yung magkampanya na ganyan. Ako hindi ko politics
Lalo na ngayon, ang init ng panahon. So, nag-iikot kayo.
So, as I was saying, very timely yung dating ko. Like, ang tagal-tagal doon, maraming hindi na po promote kasi si Garchitorena was there and talagang hindi siya na-promote ng mula pa nung ang tagal-tagal niya doon. At noon, meron ngang may rule na antayin mo, yung courtesy is a matter of courtesy. You wait for your PJ to be promoted before applying. Kaya nung hindi siya na po-promote, merong gusto na mag-apply, nagpasintabi muna. tinanong siya, PJ, are you going to apply for the Supreme Court position? Sabi, hindi. So yun, so in that case, sabi niya, pwede ako mag-apply. So binigyan siya ng go signal na mag-apply. Ganun nung araw.
Wow, but that's good. May courtesy. That's brasuhan at sikuhan ngayon. Yeah. CJ Tassi, so how did you end up becoming presiding justice?
Yun na nga di kasi nga ang bilis ko na promote sa seniority. So nung time na si Minita Nisario naging Supreme Court Justice na rin. So nagkaroon ng bakante. At that time number 2 na ako sa seniority. So pwede na ako mag-apply kasi usually yung first 5 like sa Supreme Court na yung maski sa Court of Appeals dati yung first 5 yun na nag-a-apply. So at that time yung kasama na ako doon sa first 5 pwede ma-consider sa Supreme Court. Mahabang istorya na yan. Alam mo, naging, di ba, yung aming merong special division doon that was constituted by the Supreme Court to try yung plunder case.
Oh, yun nga gusto kong tanungin si CJ.
Yeah.
Kasi alam naman po natin na talagang nakikita mo naman at the course of your career, you were always assigned to something important, something big, something very challenging. And then you perform so well that in each and every performance, basis agreement, the peace talks, and then the peace talks with the Numiswari, every step of the way na promote ka to a higher level. At ngayon naman po, mukhang ang bago kayo po napunta sa Supreme Court, you were handling the plunder case against former President Joseph Ejercito Estrada. At dito ka parang nakilala ulit at kaya rin isa sa mga rason na nakita ng mga tao na ikaw ibabagay din sa Supreme Court. Tama ba yun, CJ?
Alam mo kasi minsan yung iba pag tumaas ang posisyon, lumalaki yung ulo. Parang akala nila sila na yung hari o reyna or what. Pero ako nung PJ ako nag-handle ako ng mga ganyang kaso, I show na hindi ako yung wala akong ibang konsiderasyon or hindi ako nagmamalaki na may power ako. Kasi minsan yung iba akala nila may power sila so they can do what they want. I accord respect to everyone. Kaya hindi siya may position sa government, kaya isang lowly government official na may kaso sa sandigan, nire-respect ko yung tao, hindi ko hinihiya sa court. Ngayon, nung si President Estrada din, nung nag-a-appear sa amin, napaka-courteous din naman siya sa court. So I gave him due respect as the former president. Hindi ko siya tinasawag na, ay, Mr. Accused, hindi ako nagaganon. Lagi kong, Mr. Former President Joseph Ejercito Estrada, kahit mahaba. Kasi ayoko siyang masaktan na parang, ano ba yun? Parang binabali-bali, wala na lang ako. Ako hindi na ginagalang. So, ganun. Tapos, syempre, kung ano yung dapat ipakita mo sa isang party litigant, pantay-pantay ang pagtingin, pantay-pantay ang trato. Kahit na pa posisyon, kay mababa, kay mataas. At saka, I really tried my best na yung decision namin will be in accord with law and the evidence. At sinasabayan ko yan ng dasal. Hindi. Pinagdadasal ko yan talaga. Na pero talaga gusto ko sana ma-promote na ako sa Supreme Court. Gusto ko nang tumakas dun . Minsan pa nagdadasal ako, Lord, pa-appoint mo na naman ako sa Supreme Court. Kayang-kaya na ng mga kasama ko dito yung kaso kasi top record naman. Lahat naman ng transcript, lahat naman ng nandoon. Pero deep inside, actually, hindi ang prayer ko, parang hindi ako nagiging straightforward sa Diyos. Kasi I was the only one left doon mula yung mga dating kasama ko from the start na nag-hear nung case, wala na lahat, nag-retire na, si Minita na-promote. Ako na lang ang natitira doon na nasimulat sa poll nung case. Nandun ako. I heard all the witnesses. I was able to see all the evidence presented. 6 na taon yun eh. So, dapat lang talaga ako. Pero gusto kong tumakas. Kasi kung hindi, baka magkaroon sasabihin, mistrial yan. Nobody, no justice was, who was there from the start decided the case.
Wow.
So I was the only one na natitira doon na para masasabi ko na nakita ko lahat yan, narinig ko lahat ng witnesses, nakita ko yung so kailangan talaga nandun ako.
So you really stuck it through just to finish the case. And then after the decision was rendered, doon ka na ba nag-Supreme Court?
3 times yata ako nag-apply sa Supreme Court noong time na yun eh. And nasa shortlist ako, ang taas ng rating ko dun sa mga justices ng Supreme Court. At saka
Si GMA po nag-appoint sa inyo, di ba Mama Tatay? Si GMA na po.
Oo, pero yung first appointment ko si Ramos, tapos si GMA. Ngayon, ay di nung yun na nga, hindi ako na-promote sa Supreme Court. Ilang beses ako nag-appeal ako. Kasi tapos minarinig pa ako, huwag nating alisin yan dyan. Hayaan mo muna tapusin yung kaso. Sabi daw ng mga justices sa Supreme Court o sa JBC. Parang yung iniisip nila, pag umalis ako doon, meron akong hinahawakang kasong mabigat, di maiiwan ko pa. Parang siguro somehow, isa yun sa mga naging hindrance na Tapos, di hindi nga ako napupromote. Sabi ko, Lord, alam ko na gusto mo sa akin, gusto mo tapusin ko tong kaso. Tapos sabi ko, basta I ask you, wag mo ako pababayaan. I didn't say kung ano gagawin niya sa akin. Basta sabi ko, wag mo akong pababayaan. Kasi ang daming pwedeng mangyari. It can make or break you. Baka magkagulo, hindi matanggap ng mga tao decision or whatever. Kaya I was praying hard. Talaga nagdadasal ako mabuti na mag-guide ako, matulungan kami. So awa ng Diyos, iniisip, ang dami-daming sinasabi ng mga precaution pag nag-decide, baka magkagulo, baka ganito gagawin nyo, sasakay kayo sa helicopter, ganyan. Nagulat ako, ang tahimik. Nung nag-decide kami, walang kagulo-gulo, tahimik. Tapos doon sa courtroom, pati yung mga kasama namin, hindi nila alam kung anong aming decision. Pati yung mga justices ng Sandigan were there inside the courtroom, waiting to hear kung ano yung judgment namin. Tapos nung sinabi nga namin guilty ng plunder, naku, sa court, mega.
Nakahinga rin sila.
So we were able to keep it a secret kung ano yung aming decision.
Yeah. So but did you experience any backlash during that time? I mean, buti na lang yung time na yun, wala pang social media. So walang mga, walang mga trolls or whatever. But did you feel any backlash from that decision?
Hindi, alam mo, parang ako nga oblivious ako sa kapaligiran basta ginagawa ko yung trabaho ko. Tapos, halimbawa nag-decide kami, I remember Thursday yun nag-decide kami. Friday, ni-meeting ang Committee on Computerization sa Supreme Court. As PJ, ex-officio member ako noon. So right after nung nag-decide kami, the following day, pumunta na ako sa Supreme Court to attend a meeting. Hindi ako nagtago, di ba yung iba pag nagde-decide ng case, tatago, ako isip ko, trabaho lang yun, ordinary Pagpasok ko dun sa hearing, sa committee meeting ng nagpalakpakan silang lahat.
Oh, wow. That's so,
Nagulat ako kasi I did not expect any special treatment or I did not expect any special reaction from anybody. Siguro sabi na, kadi-decide nito ng case kahapon, nandito na siya, nag-attend ng meeting ng Committee on Computerization. Basta ganun yung attitude ko kasi trabaho lamang. Tapos parang nung nandun ako sa DOJ, siguro, na-develop na rin yung attitude ko na kahit pa anong klaseng trabaho hawak mo, kausap mo mga rebelde, kausap mo mga kabinete, kausap mo mga senador or whoever, gano'ng kataas man ang tao. Ganun lang yun. Trabaho yun, gawain mo. At yung wag mong isipin na na merong kakaiba doon or pagbutihin mo lang yung gagawain mo. Kaya siguro nung nandun ako sa Sandigan, nag-decide ako ng parang sa akin, ordinary lang yung ginawa ko, trabaho ko yun Trabaho ko yung ginawa ko, trabaho ko eh. Tapos ginawa ko naman, malinis ang konsyensya ko. Hindi ako dapat mag-alala kahit kanino man na ito dinicide ko. Meron akong ginawang unfair o naging bias ako or what. Para ang feeling ko, I was so confident na kaya kong humarap kahit kanino dun sa ginawa namin decision. So ganun.
TJ, we'll take a short break lang kasi siyempre kailangan din maghanap buhay. Pero huwag po kayong umalis at sana nakikinig at nanonood, huwag po kayong umalis. We'll be right back. No? Kasi ang pag-uusapan na naman natin po, pagbalik po natin, gusto naman natin din pakinggan kung ang pagpunta nyo po sa Korte Suprema and eventually the first official female Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. So maganda pong pakinggan yan, lalo na sa ating mga nakikinig, nanonood ng mga women, female law students or female lawyers, members of the judiciary, or maybe working in the private sector who has aspirations of serving in the highest court of the land. So we'll take a short break po muna. Huwag po kayong malis. Babalik po kami. We'll be right back.
PBA Party List for Youth and Sports. Tuloy ang pagtulong sa inyo. Legal, financial, medical assistance. Magbibigay ng scholarship. Focusing on youth and sports. Yeah. PBA Party List.
Guys, palabas na ng ospital si May pero kulang pa daw siya ng 10,000. Ambagan sana tayo.
Sige.
Dito nyo na lang lagay kung magkano yung kaya nyo. Ako naman nakaisip nitong ambagan, kaya akin na lang ang sobra.
Maliit man o malaki, ang korupsyon ay korupsyon. Kapag hinayaan, sisirain ito ang kinabukasan ng bayan. Kaya maglakas loob sumigaw ng,
Hindi sa'yo yan!
Hindi sa'yo yan!
A straight question deserves a straight answer. Presenting straight from Radyo Bandido in partnership with the Philippine Star. An ongoing question and answer series with candidates for the May 9 elections. This week's candidate, former Secretary of National Defense of the Philippines, Gibo Teodoro, answers the question straight. This is Straight from Radyo Bandido.
On the final question, sir, one of your advocates is to make progress in healthcare. And as the country's health situation slowly improves, what measures or legislation would you bring forward to strengthen the Philippine healthcare system?
Immediately, what we need to do is to examine the national expenditure plan and to exercise oversight that the funds due the local government units are properly downloaded and no retentions are done by the national government, particularly in the case of building and equipping health facilities, hospitals, and healthcare. Two things. A universal healthcare system, which is easier said than done. But the immediate thing that can be done is proper guidance by the DOH in accordance with the specific conditions of each community. A one-size-fits-all prescription throughout the Philippines will not fit the bill. And just downloading the funds to capable local governments that have proven their capacity to build the required infrastructures in health and give the required services. So I encourage our people and our viewers to research every problem. Each one will have his or her own opinion, but it's our duty as citizens, as students, as teachers, not to have formulaic solutions to our unique problems. The Philippines is not like any country in the world. This is a unique country, which is a beautiful country because of its diversity, but with the beauty in diversity comes a diversity in problems too. And the solutions that we have to come up with must be Philippine solutions and not solutions coming from elsewhere. Let us choose wisely. Let us choose based on the agenda, the capabilities, the work that needs to be done. And I am here supporting a tandem which is forward-looking with an agenda. I'm fully, I have promised the public and my supporters to cooperate in building a better Philippines, bagong Pilipinas para sa bagong henerasyon. Because I'm doing this not only for myself, but for the future generation.
Very well said, Mr. Secretary. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. God bless you all.
That was straight from Radyo Bandido. Stay tuned daily till Election Day for this ongoing series.
Revolutions Per Minute with host Marilyn Craig and guest co-host future Dr. Zoe will revolutionize your life. Spend lunch with them every Saturday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. This is your Love Life Teleradio with interviews with people from all walks of lives, as well as personalities, with stories that enlighten and inspire. So catch RPM on Teleradio Bandido, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, free-to-air Channel 29, DZRJ 810 AM, Facebook.com/DZRJ 810 AM, and YouTube channel RJ AM News. Chacha Hinmo Baby is a news-oriented program that tackles topical issues and headlines with the support of DZRJ field reporters. Hosted by the legendary Jimeno, Monday to Friday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, digital free-to-air Channel 29, DZRJ 810 AM, Facebook.com/DZRJ 810 AM, and on YouTube channel RJ AM News.
Magandang hapon sa mga nakikinig sa atin, and thank you for staying with us since 5 p.m. So we're now at the last part of our program kasi our interview with Chief Justice Tessie De Castro is from 5 to 6 p.m. So CJ Tessie, it's been such an amazing story to hear how you got to, well, to the Supreme Court, right? Like that's where you started, and then umabot pa kayo sa Sandigan Bayan. So finally, when was the decision to go to the Supreme Court? And we can end your story with that because everyone knew like how you eventually became Chief Justice. That was really widely covered in terms of like to see you rise from Justice of the Supreme Court to being Chief Justice.
After nung nag-decide kami nung case ng former president, siyempre mag-MR, there was a motion for reconsideration was filed. And we were discussing among us, yung tatlo kaming justices ng Sandigan, we were discussing that we should study very well yung motion for recon, and we should not just, this is outright, because people are watching, and we cannot just hurry up things, and they might think that we want to go to the Supreme Court and get done away with that case. But after just a few weeks, I think the motion for recon was withdrawn. So wala na yung meron kaming kailangan pang gawain doon sa case na yun kasi the motion for recon was withdrawn. Now, talagang medyo, alam mo naman, syempre maraming haka-haka mga tao. And one time, meron isang incident, I had to defend yung budget ng ng Sandigan Bayan as PJ sa Senate. And I was asked if you were offered yung position sa Supreme Court, will you accept it? Kasi yung iba akala nila yung decision was motivated by that yung bang desire to be promoted. Sabi ng isang senador, you may refrain from answering that question kasi alam niyang siguro parang being put on the spot. Pero ako naman kasi I have no guilt feelings, or I feel confident na tama yung ginawa namin at sabi ko, but that is the dream of every lawyer. So I'm going to accept it. Ang tingin ko naman kaya pag tinatanong ako, I've been in government for 33 years. 33 years na ako noon eh. Nung time na yun, 10 years sa Sandigan Bayan. So ang feeling ko, I'm well prepared for a Supreme Court position. So nag-apply ako and na-appoint naman ako as one of the justices of the Supreme Court, and it was again very timely. Pagdating ko doon, I was appointed 2007. Pagdating ko ng December, meron nag-retire ng February. So from being the 15th justice, naging 14th na ang aking...
Ang bilis agad.
Naging 14 agad ako in 2 months time. Naging number 14. Tapos tuloy-tuloy na, ang dami na naman nag-retire. So in 2009, just after 2 years, naging number 7 na ako.
Oh, wow.
Very timely talaga yung pagpasok ko sa Sandigan, sa Supreme Court. Kasi seniority napaka-importante sa collegial courts eh.
Yeah.
Now, tapos nung nandoon na ako, I don't know if, maybe you can just ask me question. I think we're pressed for time.
Yes. Yeah.
We're pressed for time. So what I just want to say that yung tingin ko, yung why I became the Chief Justice, it was totally unplanned. It was really, I was really not thinking about becoming the Chief Justice. In fact, I was preparing for my retirement as Associate Justice. Naisip ko na lang, sabi ko, when I retire, dapat maayos lahat dito. Ayusin ang mga rules, ayusin yung mga regulations para malinaw, hindi misinterpret. So that was my goal before I retired. That is what I wanted to do. Kaya sa mga promotions, maraming hindi na po promote, matagal na, 4 na taon, mga bakante, mga position. So ang naisip ko, sabi ko, kaya siguro ako naging chief. Sabi ko, when you do the right thing, for the right reason, somebody up there will bring you to the right
destination. Yeah.
The right destination. Kasi ganun lang naman ako eh. I wanted to do the right thing, and I had the right reason. I believe I have the right reason to do it. Tapos things
fell
just
into place.
came as a matter of course. Ganun lang. Kaya kasama ang dasal, kasama ang mahirap pagka yung may ginagawa ka kasi may personal agenda ka eh.
Yeah.
Pag meron kang personal agenda, hindi ka naman talaga sincerely gustong tumulong. Ako kasi naging employee ako ng Supreme Court na yung I started from a very low position. I know how the employees feel eh. Takot sila sa mga justices. Nobody will complain against a justice kung ang feeling nila, kahit ang feeling nila hindi tama yung ginagawa sa kanila, wala magko-complain, takot na takot ang mga empleyado sa mga justices. So I thought that only one of the justices can do what I did. Yung questioning yung mga what I believe is against the rules.
But thank you, CJ Tessie. This has been super inspiring, and earlier nahiya ako, sabi ko, mag-go 1 hour na, and I know that we told you 5 to 6 p.m. and yet you've stayed on, so we really appreciate that. In fact, bitin pa nga kasi I wanted to ask you sana about your experience in law school back in the day as batch 72. So perhaps we can have you back one of these days. But thank you again. You know, like you said, this is the first time na pumayag in personal interview. And we are so honored because we learned so much about your career. And it's truly inspiring, not only for the women out there, but for all people who not just want to make it in the legal field, but I think for everyone who is aspiring for higher positions in their careers. So thank you so much, Chief Justice Teresita De Castro. It's been truly inspiring.
You're welcome, and it's my pleasure.
Thank you. We hope to have you back again soon.
Okay.
Thank you. And bye-bye. Bye, Chief Justice. Thank you. And now we're going to our next guest, Secretary Sal Panelo. Secretary Sal, I heard that you have an update about the elections.
Yeah, if you haven't heard it yet, the PDP 11 has officially endorsed former Senator Bongbong Marcos as its presidential choice in the coming elections.
So what does that mean for, well, the PDP? It's very clear. So ano mangyayari? Before, I know that the president was withholding his endorsement. Does that mean that President Duterte is now endorsing BBM as the presidential candidate?
That is the party decision of the PDP 11. Now, it will be unsurprising if the president endorses former senator, because you must remember that the reasons I have stated in my speeches before why I'm comfortable with the choice of Mayor Sara Duterte for three reasons. One, because among the five candidates, the former Senator Bongbong has never criticized the president vis-a-vis the programs he has initiated and as well as the accomplishments he has made. Number two, he has been calling for unity among Filipinos. And number three, which is very important, is he has committed himself to continue with the changes made by the president, while the other hopefuls for the presidency have not done it. In fact, they are against the president. That is why I will not be surprised if the president, just like the PDP 11, would eventually endorse Bongbong Marcos as his own choice for the presidency. And I think the president's endorsement, if ever it comes, and I think it will come, will cement the victory of Bongbong Marcos as president of this country.
Wow. So yung lead that we're seeing right now, which is already a very impressive lead, do you think that will even go higher? You know, in the surveys, we've seen 50%, 60% for BBM. Meron pa bang itataas? Yung parang ang taas-taas na. Like the thing I see in the undecided is I think about 9%. So do you think this will even go higher or just remain stable?
But it doesn't have to go higher. It's already very high. As I said, the endorsement of the president will cement his victory in the presidential elections. There is no other way but up.
Yeah, I agree with that, Secretary Sal. So anything else that we can expect? So what happens to the PDP senatorial slate? Will that then be part of the slate of the BBM Sara Uni team?
Not really, because it's a political party different from the Uni team. However, the alliance of PDP Laban with the parties Federal as well as Lakas will make the voters have a wide latitude of choice on the senatorial lineup. Kumbaga, sa basketball, lumalim ang bench, deep bench, marami kang pagpipilian. Because whether we like it or not, the reality is a voter will ordinarily not vote straight for a political party. They will have to make some choices. And by the inclusion of PDP Laban in the alliance, that will give the voter more elbow room to choose from. Siyempre, sa isang partido, meron dyan mga ayaw sila. At ang iba, binablanko yan. Ang iba, naghahanap. So pagpasok ng PDP Laban, 6 kaming pumasok, ibig sabihin, madadagdagan ang kanilang choices. At pag pumasok pa si Presidente Duterte, mag-i-endorse, lalong lalakas ang mga senatorial candidates ng PDP Laban. Tandaan natin na si Presidente Duterte ay nakatanggap ng more than 70% trust and approval rating, which means na yung taong bayan, lalo na yung mga botante, ganun ding kataas ang kanyang rating sa mga botante. So, kung may tiwala ang mga botante kay Presidente, magtitiwala rin siya sa mga ini-endorse ni Presidente. Kaya lalakas ang mga kandidato ng PDP Laban dahil sa kanya endorsements.
Okay, so that's really a lot of effects, like strengthening BBM as a presidential candidate and then also strengthening yung senatorial lineup ng PDP Laban further. So we only have about a month left until the elections. So technically, dahil patapos na yung March, so roughly 1 month. Secretary Sal, when do you think the president will be more involved and vocal in terms of, campaigning for PDP Laban candidates and then being involved? Perhaps will he be involved in terms of, he's still the chairman of the PDP Laban, right?
Yes. Well,
will he be involved in
the president has already intimidated to us and to the public that he's going to join the political hustings. He will go out and actively campaign for his candidates, the senators. And if he, as expected by us, he would be endorsing the candidacy of BBM or former Senator Bongbong Marcos, then that would even strengthen the chances of the senatorial candidacy of the president. Because if prior to the party stand of the PDP Laban and prior to the endorsement, the supporters of the unit team had a limited choice of candidates, the entry of these other candidates will in fact help them expand their choices.
Yeah. And will we see the president also then attending rallies and other campaign sorties with Mayor Sara? I think that's a lot of yung dati pang hinihingi ng mga Duterte supporters na makita naman yung mag-ama together. Is that a possibility?
Oh, yes. I think everything is possible now, given the fact that the team of BBM and Sara have repeatedly and consistently committed to support the reforms initiated by the president and to continue the changes that we have seen in the last almost 6 years of his presidency.
Well, I think that's unless something changes like major, and I don't see that happening, then it seems like it's becoming more obvious how this election will turn out in May 2022. So, Secretary Sal, what can we expect in the coming days in terms of just in political activity of PDP Laban? How will they then go out? Mag-align na ba dun sa ikot din ng unity team?
Palagay ko magiging visible si Presidente. More visible. And yung yung ni team, pwede silang mag-imbita ng nasa grupo ng PBB Laban at ganoon din naman ang PBB Laban. Kasi wala namang conflict. Gaya ng sinabi ko, parang basketball team yan. Malalim ang bench. Marami kang pwedeng pagpilian. Hindi na yung, kung ayaw mo yung isa, bablangkuin mo na lang. Ayun, kung ayaw mo yung isa, for whatever reason, meron na. Maganda silang pagpipilian pa. So nakikita natin na yung mga ibang kandidato sa Panguluan, pag yan pumasok si Presidente dyan, in fact, ngayon lang, pagpasok ng party decision na supportan si BBM, medyo, siyempre, problematic sa kanila yan. At if it is true that there is a surge, kung totoo, that there is a surge in the presidential aspirations of the Vice President, mukhang mahihinto yan pag pumasok ang partido at lalong-lalo na pag pumasok na si Presidente. Huwag natin kakalimutan, as I repeatedly said, na yung 70+% ng trust and approval rating ng Presidente ay malaking bagay. Kasi, gaya ng pinaliwanag ko na sa inyo nung una nating mga interviews, yung mga supporters ni Presidente Duterte, logically, will always gravitate doon sa isang kandidato na hindi pinupulaan ng Presidente, sa halip pinupuri pa at saka nagpo-commit na ipagpapatuloy niya yung mga isinagawang pagbabago ng Presidente. Kakaiba ito doon sa mga ibang kandidato na never mo silang maririnig na we will continue with the changes that this President had. In fact, they were against it noon pa. At itutuloy nila. Siyempre, palagi nilang pinupulaan. Lahat ng mga proyekto na, hindi sila naniniwala na tama yung mga ginawa ni Presidente. Sa drugs lang, sa digmaan sa droga, mali daw ang ginawa ni Presidente. Pagdating sa pandemic responses, mali ang ginawa ni Presidente. Pagdating sa ayuda, kulang daw ang ginawa ni Presidente. Pagdating sa infrastruktura, ayaw nila dahil ang dami daw utang ni Presidente. Kung ano sabi, kontra sila. Kontrang-kontra sila. Kaya, natural, pag ikaw ay supporter ni Presidente Duterte, ba't ka naman pupunta sa kanila? Lalong lalakas yung kandidato na nagpapahayag na susuporta sa mga pagbabago na sinimulan ni Presidente Duterte. Yan ang maliwanag na nakita.
Okay, Secretary Sal, my last question because pinapa-wrap up na tayo.
Yeah.
What about the former statements before of the President na hindi daw strong leader si BBM at yung accomplishments niya ay kulang, not like the father? What will that be kind of contradictory or just like a inconsistent with his previous
Not
statements?
necessarily. You must remember,
BBM?
not necessarily. You must remember, the President said na sinabi niya weak. Pero wala naman siya sinasabi. He did elaborate exactly what the word weak was in reference to. Hindi mo alam kung saan ba siya weak. Weak ba siya bilang asawa? Nasunod-sunuran sa kapritsyo ng asawa? O weak siya sa pamamahala? He never mentioned governance. Tandaan natin yun. Pangalawa, alam po ninyo, ang lahat ng tao, magagaling man, merong weak spot na tinatawag. So, madaling sabi, sa lahat ng mga galing nila, yan susukatin mo. Kung yung weakness mo sa isang bagay, matatakpan dun sa kagalingan mo sa mas maraming bagay, di ba? Wala ka na problema. So, ang tingin ko, hindi pa naman niya ini-endorse. But ang base lang ng sinasabi kong baka i-endorse niya, kasi nga, among the 5 candidates, kung ikaw naman si Presidente Duterte, sinong susuportahan ko? Siyempre, yung magpapatuloy ng pagbabagong ginawa ko. Hindi yung sisira sa mga ginawa ko. Natural lamang yun.
Well said. Thank you so much, Secretary Sal, for your explosive news. Na one of the first again for us to break that news thanks to you, always giving us the inside track on what's going on in politics, especially when it comes to this presidential election. So thank you so much, Secretary Sal, and good luck in Bacolod. We hope to have you back again next Tuesday, and then when you're free, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Friday from 11:30 to 12 p.m. So thank you, at magpapaalam na po kami, 5 to 6:30 p.m. tayo today, pero parang ang bilis-bilis na dumaan ng oras. And we hope to have you all again with us next Tuesday, same time, 5 to 6:30 p.m. And every day, Mondays, Wednesdays to Fridays from 11:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. So maraming salamat po, and good luck, Secretary Sal. Good luck with your campaign. And thank you, everyone. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you to my partner, Attorney Mike Toledo, who's also on his way to somewhere right now, who's always on the go. Good night, everyone, and see you again tomorrow at 11:30 a.m.
Thank you for having me.